What's up with the United States?
I'm curious, what exactly is the reason for that happening?
Why can they order other countries to do what they want, even when some of those orders go against the interests of the countries being told what to do?
What is the exact reason for that happening?
Why did they order Europe to stop buying cheap oil from Russia, knowing that without it, they'd suffer? And that's exactly what happened. The economy worsened, it went into recession, and yet Europe still had to comply, sending 2% of their GDP to help the United States in its war.
It was pretty smooth, wouldn't you say? Pretty smooth.
Why is it that the United States is able to seize $300 billion of Russia's assets in the global financial system? Why can the US order its allies to stop selling chips to China? And why do these allied countries have to do what the US wants anyway? So what's the deal? What is it about the United States that makes the world afraid? Yes. Thank you so much to everyone for following the Style Money Monster channel. The view count has been really great, and I truly appreciate every comment, all your encouragement, and all the feedback, both positive and constructive. If you notice that our channel has been improving, just know that the money I earn goes to my team so we can keep improving the quality of our work and get access to more exclusive information. If anyone is interested in supporting the Style Money Monster channel, you can support us right here. For example, you can scan the QR code or simply like, share, and subscribe to our channel. That really means a lot to us. Okay, thank you. Now, let's move on to today's topic. I've put a lot of effort into gathering this information for you. What assets does the United States have that make the world fear them? Why does everyone have to follow their lead? How do they control the world? Let's start with the first asset of the United States. The US has a military force. That is the largest in the world. The United States has military bases all over the world, up to 750 bases in a total of 80 countries. This figure comes from a report by Al Jazeera. There are Air Force, Army, Navy, and Marine Corps bases, including both coastal and underwater forces, as well as a Space Force. And as I mentioned, those 750 are the number of bases. But there are also just company-sized units, which are spread out all over the world as well. According to the information reported by Al Jazeera, 173,000 company-sized units are stationed in a total of 159 countries around the world. Basically, aside from the North and South Poles, the rest of the world has a US military presence. And all of these US military bases are still fully operational because the United States allocates a budget of $100 billion every year to ensure that. US military bases around the world are still fully operational. The US military budget is also the largest in the world, by far. For example, the US military budget for 2023 was as high as $916 billion. This top-ranked budget is equal to the combined military budgets of the countries ranked 2nd through 11th, 10 countries in total, including China, Russia, India, Saudi Arabia, the UK, Germany, Ukraine, France, Japan, and South Korea. Even when you add up all 10 of those countries, their total still doesn't match the US, which stands alone at number 1. With this, the United States is able to spend such a huge amount on military or defense expenses. It's not like they're just throwing money around carelessly. They actually have a plan. That's because they also generate a lot of revenue from the military industry, or what we call the defense industry. According to data from Motor Intelligence, the U.S. defense industry has a market cap as high as $309,777 million, and it's projected to grow to $360,700 million by 2029. All of this means that this is the second most significant strategic asset of the United States. The fact that it remains the world's largest and most advanced supplier of military weaponry. When we talk about weapons of war, to paint a clear picture, they're widely considered to be the most high-tech and abundant killing machines in the world, and the United States owns them. The top player in the U.S. arms trade is Lockheed Martin, which generated a staggering total of $63.3 billion in revenue last year. Lockheed Martin offers a full and diverse range of sophisticated weaponry. They cover everything: land, sea, air. For the sea, they have both surface and underwater capabilities. They even have assets in space. And most importantly, they provide warfare equipment for cyber warfare, which is the most advanced form of modern warfare in the world today. This includes data theft, data protection, and hacking, basically cyber warfare. And Lockheed Martin doesn't just design weapons of war, they also design military organization and strategy. For example, what they're promoting here is integrated force organization. That means combining everything, land, sea, and air, for the most effective attacks possible. Number 2 is RTX, which brings in about $39.6 billion a year. RTX focuses on aerospace technology, like airplanes and such. And number 3 is Northrop Grumman, which makes $32.4 billion a year. They focus on technology, space technology, and underwater vehicles. When I saw this one, I was like, wow, it's basically a manta ray. It's designed to look like, can we call it a stingray? It really looks like a stingray that goes underwater. The company says this submarine is designed to be like a nightmare under the sea for enemies, capable of attacking both quickly and with a lot of force. And besides the top 3 largest arms companies in the world, which are American, let's look at this chart. You can see the green color here. See it? The top 3 are from the United States. The green represents American companies. And in the top 25, or the 25 largest arms companies in the world, there are still several more green sections, which represent other American companies. And because the United States is the country that produces the most weapons of war in the world, it gives them a third asset that the world should fear: alliances. Alliances that are bound together by military arms relationships. The United States is the country that earns the most money from exporting weapons in the world. 51% of the global arms trade belongs to the US. And if anyone wants to buy or sell weapons with the US, it's not as simple as just having money and saying, hey, I've got cash, let me buy some. It's not that easy. The US won't just sell to anyone. To buy or sell weapons with the United States, there have to be agreements, exchanges, and binding commitments put in place. There are conditions like you can use it only for this purpose but not for that. And the United States also expects to get something in return from selling weapons to those countries. According to data from the Stockholm Peace Research Institute, or SIPRI, the United States has sold weapons to a total of 103 countries around the world, and Thailand is one of them. This chart clearly shows the connection between the United States and many other countries that buy weapons from the US. America tends to sell a lot to countries where it stands to gain significant benefits. For example, the US sells the most to Saudi Arabia, right? That's because the US needs to protect its resources there. Or take Japan, for instance. The US also sells a lot to Japan because Japan is an important island front line used to defend against China, which is their #1 enemy. And the fourth asset of the United States that the world should fear is its nuclear warheads. According to data from SIPRI again, the United States has as many as 5,224 nuclear warheads. This footage from CNN shows the United States nuclear bomb tests conducted between 1945 and 1962. The destructive power of each bomb tested was extremely intense. For example, Ivy Mike, which had a yield of 10,400 kilotons, was tested in 1952. Castle Bravo, with a yield of 15,000 kilotons, was tested in 1954. And then there's the B-41, which is the most powerful bomb ever made by the United States, with a yield of 25,000 kilotons. And since the United States has military bases all over the world, troops stationed everywhere, the most advanced and largest arsenal of weapons, and nuclear warheads with immense destructive power, the fifth quality of the United States that the world should fear is that it's a country that means what it says, follows through, and is decisive. Following the devastating surprise attack on Pearl Harbor by Japan, President Franklin D. Roosevelt officially and immediately declared a state of war between the United States and the Empire of Japan on the very next day, December 8th. Let's sense you unproblematic. And the start lead tax? Reporting live from Japan, inside a bustling Japanese city at 7 minutes past the hour in 1941, during a critical wartime situation. Ham, AC Cest. The green new ninth stakes and the Jobany Ampher. Then, the United States sent something even more devastating than the attack on Pearl Harbor to Japan. The Leader Boy nuclear bomb dropped on Hiroshima. This resulted in the immediate deaths of 70,000 Japanese people and subsequent injuries and deaths of another 70,000. And the United States didn't stop there. They also dropped the Fat Boy on Nagasaki, making things even worse. The effects of radiation and the psychological trauma are still there, still with the Japanese people to this very day. But actually, the United States doesn't have the largest number of nuclear bombs in the world. The country with the most is Russia. But it's the single nation in history that has ever deployed and detonated a nuclear bomb on the citizens of another country. What I just talked about above is something that has a profound and lasting impact on security, safety, and people's lives. The whole country, the whole world really, if you say that these people are really strong, that they have a ton of weapons, would you dare to mess with them? Just that is enough to make people not dare to challenge them. But besides matters of life and death, the United States also holds hostages in the form of assets belonging to the country and the world. Because the sixth asset of the United States, which is the most powerful economic weapon, is the US dollar. Because since 1971, when President Richard Nixon announced that the US dollar would no longer be backed by gold, from that point on, the dollar took on the role of backing the wealth of other countries' currencies. It became the global medium of exchange for trade and transactions all over the world, and every country still uses the US dollar as their foreign currency reserve. Thailand itself holds a lot of US dollars, whether in the form of US dollars or US government bonds. That's why every currency in the world that's involved in trade has to be pegged to the US dollar. So if the US dollar strengthens, other currencies weaken. And if the US dollar weakens, other currencies get stronger. Therefore, the US's economic, political, and monetary policies that affect the US dollar also impact other currencies. And the US dollar is still the medium of exchange in up to 88% of global trade. That means the US dollar is so deeply embedded in every financial and economic system that it's inseparable. But if you ask who controls the US dollar, it has to be the United States, right? And the way the US controls the dollar isn't just about the system or using tools like interest rates or policies to manage the dollar. The US actually has the power to control the dollar to the point where they can seize dollars in anyone's system. That's why the US has the authority to seize Russia's dollars in the SWIFT system, up to $3, or they can impose sanctions on banks that do business with Russia. Or they can sanction anyone who displeases the United States and seize their dollars, or simply freeze those dollars right then and there. If you want more details about this, you can check out the video about how the US can target banks around the world. And the last asset that the United States has, which is sure to make a lot of people nervous, is that the US has gold, which many countries around the world have deposited at the Federal Reserve in New York. We're talking about real gold bars, up to 507,000 bars, or a total weight of 6,331 tons. That means don't mess with them, or you might not get it back.